Well, now I think it's a good time to move on to our special guest today. Actress Dascha Polanco recently starred in FX limited series The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story. But Dascha may arguably be best known for her role as DIANARA DIAZ on the Netflix hit series Orange is the New Black. Let's take a look at the trailer for the 6th season of the show.
Good morning, Litchfield Max, and greetings to our new cookies.
Wait, this isn't home. This is not home.
It is now.
I've been a bad, bad girl.
It's very different here.
I've been careless with a delicate man.
These girls are psychos. My bunkie, she does 4 poops a day.
What?
Don't you tell me to
First, my friends become not my friends.
long and I will suffer for.
And then, given a color that other colors want to fight.
I've come to you 'cause I need
Blues and khakis have beef with each other. Pinks are safe out there.
Navigating adult female friendships is so complicated.
Where is Alec? Don't you think it's weird we're the only people in here?
They want us to go down, regardless of what we did or didn't do. I'm scared.
You're gonna give up the rest of your life to protect some lousy criminal?
All I got is enemies these days.
Sometimes I wonder whose team you're really on.
What else did Ruiz do?
Why are you lying to me?
She got to you already. They coming for me, but I'm gonna keep standing up.
You don't know how strong my girls are. We have iron wills and fucking nothing to lose.
Roll it out and wrist rolls it. Roll it out. Churn the butter. Churn the butter.
Everyone, put your hands together for Dascha
Audience is live.
We are so hyped.
Audience loves you. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us
I love
today.
these mugs.
Yeah.
They kind of represent me in a way.
Really?
You know, Tupac, Cha-Cha, you know, West Side. What's this?
A cat with
Little
sunglasses, yeah.
You need that. Donuts, my life, and green eggs and ham.
Yes, I know.
I love him.
I love it. You can take that with you if you want it.
Oh, thank you. You know, mug to the mug.
So, Dascha, let's jump into the show because I've gotten to see the first couple episodes, and it is so intense, and it is like, it brings you right back in because it felt like I needed to see where these stories were going, and they just really took it like full throttle.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on season 6 going into it?
I think it's a very important season. Not that any of the other ones weren't, but in retrospect, to look back that we've been on for what, 6 years now?
Yeah.
5 years.
6 seasons.
6 years? 6 seasons?
Yeah.
I think goes to show how important it is to have diversity and to be a show where we're relevant with times and discuss very important current events. Not only are we the OGs of Netflix,
Yes, that's about
the irony, we established a platform for many of us and for the network as well. I mean, Netflix has been able to grow since then.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black. I mean, I remember when that first came on Netflix and I was like, whoa, Netflix has good original content.
Yeah.
And just having this diverse cast of all women, it was great.
And the
it's so great
stories,
to see.
the stories, and they took it there. Now this season, Genji and the writers have a way of always sticking to things that are so controversial, but they educate the masses. And it goes to show throughout the world that it's not about it's incarcerated women, but the stories are so relatable, whether you speak the language or not, right?
Definitely.
This season, for me, it's just very resilient. It shows vulnerability, it shows, a new ground, even for us behind the scenes, it was like, this is a new show. It was kind of like, emotional because we let go of Litchfield,
Yeah.
which we grew part of, right? And now we're like, our comfort is being tested. And I think as a society, we're always being tested with our...
Which points to the caliber of the talent in front and behind the camera that you guys can basically abandon your home base after season 5 and go to a whole new area and have everyone so enthralled with the show. I'm so excited to see where it goes. And what does it feel like to, and I'm sure you're doing 1,000 other things and your career is going to go millions of places.
Oh my God, thank you.
It is, we all know that.
Out there.
That you're going to look back and you were part of such a historic show that was groundbreaking, like we said, for Netflix going into what it is, but also for representation. How does that feel?
Well, there's always moments as an actor that you doubt and you feel insecure, and even culturally I was raised to like always be safe and have the safety net. And now I'm actually embracing, as a woman, as I'm growing, as I'm evolving, that, you know, I'm part of this success and I deserve what's coming. And this is a stamp that I will forever carry, that we were part of pop culture, but we were so impactful.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful and very grateful for the opportunity, but I also brought something to it. So I have to own that. It comes with a lot of responsibility, but not responsibility that I can't handle. I can only do what I can do because I am human, and you know, we all have to be aware of that we're not perfect, and that's a beautiful thing, right? That we can just fuck up and just get back on and put on a Band-Aid and keep it going, right?
Yeah. I mean, a show like Orange is the New Black that deals with heavier themes and speaks to these messages, but also is really funny at times.
Very funny.
I mean,
As life
hysterical.
is, right?
As life is. I'm curious how, you know, and I know your character this season deals with scenes that are heavier, abuse. How do you prepare for scenes like that?
Taya has been going through abuse throughout, right?
Yeah.
In different degrees with different relationships. And that's important because we have to be aware that abuse doesn't only come physically, but it can come from so many other sources. I think the relationship dynamic between her mom and her...
I was just going to say, I love you and Elizabeth. Like, you guys play opposites so well. And I think it's like such a confusing mother-daughter dynamic that is so relatable.
I think it was great to be around like a group of other Latina women that are powerful, that have their story. It was just very reassuring. And I think that we're proud of that, and we know that we represent many. So for us, playing these roles, and like at the beginning, we got a lot of like backlash. These are stereotypical Latin roles, and you know, women in prison, and blah, 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 blah. But we've seen so many stereotypical roles that don't impact as much as, you know, I talk with my hands. You see that? You can tell that I'm real Dominican when I do that. But the point is that, not going off a tangent, that we are able to show how relationships don't have to be perfect, but there's always a sense of loyalty. There's always a sense of hope in the imperfect. And you see that throughout. Now, in this season, when I read that she's the physical abuse from the guards, because the abuse that she was getting from the guards before was kind of like abuse of power, in a way of like taking advantage, but falling in love, which was great and not great. At this point, you see the physical abuse, and when I laid there, and obviously I had a sandbag protecting me and I was safe, it was so intense that at a moment I just broke down and started to cry, because it hit me that once again, there's women that are actually going through this that we forget about. And men, right? Just incarcerated beings that we forget about that are actually going through this, and we're working on these issues, maybe, maybe not, but as society, I think that we're woke, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the term, right? Woke.
Yeah.
So.
You mentioned the abuse scenes, but in the opening, and I don't want to give too much away, you sort of have to do this dance that is sort of like
modern dance,
modern dance that is like artistically expressing physical abuse. So did you have to like train for that dancing?
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I was lifted up in the air. They cut that part out, but I have it. I'll do the BTS. I was lifted up in the air, but just like the expression through modern dance.
Yeah.
I dance hip hop, ballet, and I do the merengue, the bachata, the salsa, the usual. But modern dance, it was so beautiful to be able to use that as a way of like evoking these emotions. I had the guards are really safe. My co-stars are great. And I think that the opportunity to be able to do something new and to like allow a different form of expression was great for me as an actor, but also for DIANARA, right? You don't have to physically show the abuse, although we see it, but to show that in a more elegant kind of like artistic way I felt like it was real connecting, you know, to the point without having to be so common, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Daya is such an interesting character because when the show begins, she kind of is the most innocent one in a way. Like when she comes in, her mom slaps her because like, that scene's iconic. But yeah,
I was so nervous shooting that.
Really?
That was my first time on a TV show, like you know.
Yeah.
And I remember that day I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get slapped. Right now. Walk out of the car and I was just so nervous. I see it and I know, I was like, oh my God, I remember how nervous I was doing that. And now I'm like, come on, I'm ready, slap me. You know, I'm ready for this.
Well, do you think Daya's character arc kind of represents what happens to a lot of people in the criminal justice system, where they kind of go in there relatively good, really good people that maybe made one mistake and they go through so much shit?
Of course, and I think that some of us may claim we're tough. And you know, but when it comes down to the nitty gritty and your freedom is taken away, you have no control of what's happening, I think that's when you're really tested. And you could only be so strong and mentally, your mind is such a powerful thing, and to be unstable or unhealthy, I think that it will affect you even more than the physical. So I mean, I love my freedom, and to be in that position, it just made me realize it takes one little thing, and sometimes you don't even know what you're destined to, but it takes one little thing for you to end up, right, in a situation where you have no control over it.
Yeah. I'm worried about Daya this season.
Are
what
you?
he just said, yeah. Just because of all the stuff she's gotten into, and it's like getting worse for her.
Such a good care. I know. It's hard. It's Daya especially heartbreaking when something
And you have to
happens
take in consideration that she just had a child.
Yeah.
So as a woman, you know, physically, mentally, postpartum, like I always question, is she going through some postpartum like break? Where it's like she let go of her daughter and now she's in a situation where she's like, she knows she's gonna be in jail for life. So I always question that, and I play it as if when you have nothing to lose, when you're dead already, when you lost everything, what else you have, right? Nothing else but to like confine to these standards and play what you have to play. Because there's no, and I think that that's the dynamic you see in like the relationship she has, the new relationship she has in Max. It's not about her sexuality. It's about finding an escape, finding connection to something that is real, because her reality, she's not proud of.
She's trying to deal.
Yeah.
You were on the last season of American Crime Story, the assassination of Gianni Versace. That was so exciting. When I watched that season, I didn't really pay attention to the casting. So when you showed up on the screen, I squealed. I was very, very excited for that. And you were on the other side of the law.
Look at that.
In that series. Look at you.
I was very proud of that. I was like, let's keep it on the hush hush. Let it out. It was a great opportunity to work. Let me tell you something. That story, I think that when you grew up in the 90s, that story touched us in so many ways. And there were so many things that happened throughout filming that were just timing and energy. And like, I was just at the Versace mansion like a week before I got the news that I was going to be in Versace. And I had gone to like the Versace outlet and got like little sandals, you know? And I was like, this is all kind of weird, right? And I love Miami. But one thing about this role, the opportunity to play the opposite, that in this situation, she was a woman in power that was not respected, right? That was belittled in a male-gendered, dominated field, right? And for me, there was so much that I had to do to like portray her strength and the fact that so much more could have been done if we would just like look beyond who we are and just listen and collaborate together. And I wanted to make sure that I portrayed that. I hope you guys noticed that, right?
Yeah.
And she's not your typical detective. She's not your, you know, hair like me. Yeah. You know, hair in the air and wind every time she walks by. And it's like she's pretty. You can be still powerful and present and beautiful without having to be as society wants you to be, right? And I love that about Lori.
Yeah.
There was nothing stopping her. She just wanted to solve and help. You know, this was an injustice, and she wanted to make sure that she was helping the case.
She's arguably the hero of the story because when Andrew Cunanan's going around and doing his murder spree, yes, you of course have the juxtaposition to Gianni Versace, but your character, she is really the one like trying to solve this while no one's listening to her in her department. She's like, no, we have to look at these, calling it out. Like, no, this is something we have to look at. This is what we have to look at. And she was such a great character. But Mike, I want to know because Ryan.
But wait, just to cut you off on that, I just realized, right, that I forget that was another opportunity where I was around Latinos in a very powerful story that was beautifully made. I mean, Ricky, when I met Ricky Martin.
I
love Ricky.
How's it working with Ricky Martin?
He watches the show. I was like, Ricky. I didn't do La Vida Loca, none of that. I was like real, like, you know, the hug. I was like, because Menudo, he came from Menudo.
Right.
Yeah, we know.
I had the Notebook as a little girl, honey, yes. And then Penelope Cruz. I was like, look at me. And then Edgar, I worked with him before. I mean, it was just amazing. I was like, look at us. Look at what we're doing. We're moving along. Go back.
No, I mean, and Ryan Murphy helped, you know, create that show and has made a lot of effort into being inclusive. And he now just recently went over to Netflix. Do you hope that you can work with him again? Yeah.
Ryan! I was very well behaved.
Was it fun working on a Ryan Murphy show?
Yes. I love to see the creative, like, geniuses that are out there and how they work. Like working with David O. Russell, working with Ryan, working with Scorsese. Like, they're so... The way that they process, for me as an artist, I just, like, try to assimilate every moment of it. You know, that's the beauty of it, being able to like learn from those that are experienced. It's a beautiful thing. It's a great feeling, right?
You mentioned all these strong women you get to play, but I follow you on Instagram first. You have 2.5 million followers.
Yeah, I'm
amazing.
Who's counting? Trying to get up there, girl.
And I noticed you post a lot of photos and the self-love that you show through yourself, and is that something that you want your young fans to see and follow?
You know, I was just having a conversation with my glam team in the car on my way here, because I was like, oh my God, I feel so cute today. And I was telling them that confidence is something that I've learned. Obviously, I was not, you know, you get tested along the way. And I could only put myself down, at least I try to. Many try, but I'm not going to allow anyone to make me feel less than them. So I can be real natural and walk around and sweaty and be like, girl, oh my God, today. But when I come, I arrive. You know what I mean? I show up. I'm like, don't let the little chunkiness fool you. I'm fluffy, but I'm strong, you know? So
I love that. Well, you brought it today.
Yes,
I love it.
You are such a beam of light.
Yes.
Like in the studio, everyone can feel your energy. I haven't stopped smiling.
It's the quartz. It's the quartz.
I have crystals in my pocket too. Yeah,
oh my God, can I
guess I was like, oh my gosh.
I have them all
you
charging by my light, honey. You know, just be grounded with earth. Be grounded. I am a fire sign, so I need the wood.
All right.
Well, we
air.
feel the heat.
Yeah.
You know.
We do feel the heat. Well, thank you so much for joining us today,
you.
guys. Give it up for Dascha Polanco. And everyone, make sure to check out the 6th season of Orange is the New Black on Netflix if you haven't already. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same table.